Tearing down my house. The one that burned, had a house that burned.
Yes, that one.
Then we tore it down on Sunday.
If you want to talk about putting it out for bid instead, have that. But if you say company,
Okay.
so just a heads up.
You okay with it though?
We can talk about it. Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am going to report that Pastor Sid Stein is not able to be with us at this time. So with that, if you can please join me standing, and I will give the invocation. Dear Lord, we come to you this day and we ask that you grant us wisdom for the city, grant us unity, protect us, watch over us, allow our decisions to be that for the good of all people and not just for the good of one. We ask this in your name and we pray, amen. 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 Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I now call the meeting to order. All right, and at this time, Tina, could you please call the roll?
Mary Young.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, and in case those of you on Facebook did not hear, we do have Vice Mayor Wilcox with us. He is joining via phone. And at this time, we will have our presentation on common consumption area by Mrs. Jill Thorne. She is the Executive Director of the Atchison Area Chamber of Commerce. Mrs. Thorne?
Hello. Thank you guys for listening to me yet again tonight. So I'm here to talk to you about the common consumption area. I know we kind of touched base on it the last time I was here, but here is my actual formal presentation on it. Do you have a clicker, or do you want me to?
Point to her.
Okay, point. We do this point. Okay, so in April of 2023, there was a House bill that allowed towns and cities to make a common consumption area where you could leave a designated place that has a liquor license, you could leave their premises. I'm not going to read words to you. Tina, you can email this out so they can read the words later. Okay, next one. All right, so our recommendation from the locally Atchison Main Street program, as you know, I have the 3 hats of Main Street Chamber and CVB. So I am requesting that we do a Sunday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and a Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The drinks have to be in a designated cup, so that's no more than 16 ounces according to law. So that is my recommendation. There are 3 things that you can do. You can either say, no, Jill, we're not doing this. You can do it event-based, or you can do it day and time-based. After speaking with other Main Street, and I have a letter in here from Ottawa too that you can read later, they went event-based first. And because of the amount of paperwork that it was, because every time somebody had an event, they had to fill out a permit, and they had to click whether, check mark the box whether they wanted CCA or not. Every time that CCA was checked, they had to fill out paperwork and send it to the state. On top of that, it became a nightmare for them to make sure that every restaurant, bar, and retailer knew that this event you can do it and this one you couldn't. And so it became a lot of confusion, so they had to go back in and redo their CCA. So that is why my recommendation is Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday different times, as you can see, ending at 11 p.m. after the concerns of Benedictine students on it. We all know that college students don't go out until 11, so after 11, it wouldn't be an issue. Next slide. I need a magic wand. Okay, so how does it work? I just want you to guys, this is Emporia's video. We will be making our own with our own information, but it's a very quick and easy way to know how it works.
Area for CCA. It officially became operational in April. But how does it work? You enter a CCA. You'll notice pavement markers and signage that indicate the boundaries of the area. Once inside, simply head to a licensed vendor and purchase your drink. Look for signage at businesses. They're part of the CCA. Your drink must be in an approved cup with the business logo. Cannot be in a glass container. From 8 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. You're free to stroll downtown within a CCA and enjoy your beverage. Support our local businesses while you enjoy the festivities. And remember, dispose of your cup properly before leaving. Two important things to keep in mind. Only drinks purchased from participating businesses are allowed in the CCA. Cannot bring your own alcohol into the area. Some businesses may not allow drinks. Some bars may not allow drinks from other establishments. Enjoy your time then. And as always, drink responsibly. Want to learn more? Visit our website for details and a map of the CCA. Let's make downtown Emporia the place to be.
Okay, next.
Oh yeah, recently.
All right, so the signage part of it, as you saw, was it is included in the legislation that you have to have everything well marked. And so if you go to the next slide, you'll see I have put in the two middle ones are on light posts in multiple cities. The other two, one is Hayes and one is Salina, I believe. And so you can make markings however you want. Tina, next slide. This another one they made theirs a lot prettier. That's Rogers, Arkansas. But theirs also matches their window clings. And if you go to the next slide, you will also see that every single business that is a serving business, so a bar and restaurant, these are the ones that have a liquor license, would have the one on the left. And any retailer or business downtown that allows drinks inside that does not have a liquor license would have the one on the other side saying that drinks are welcome into their establishment. You cannot take a glass from one restaurant or bar into another restaurant or bar. So if it's a serving business, it can only serve you. You can't take it in. Okay, next one.
That's if they don't have a license?
Correct. So you can't take your margarita from Lopez into Pete's Steakhouse because they both have liquor license. But you can take your margarita from Lopez into Backroad Atlas and shop. So, of course, then we have the cups. And in my budget, I have room to give every participating business 1,000 of their first cups. I'm working with HB Customs and with Cornerstone to find cups that are cheap enough to keep their supply and keep them here and local. So it does have to have the logo and it has to have their logo on it. You'll see in the next screen. So those are just mock-ups. Okay, next slide.
So we'd have to have both of those?
Yes.
Like you said.
Yep. So this is our current Main Street district. We go from 10th Street to the River Road, and then we encompass Main, Commercial, and Kansas Avenue. Next slide. And this is my proposed CCA district. So it would end at 8th Street, and then it would encompass a part of River Road down to what was known as Trotters, so that if we do have another bar that goes in there, we can encompass them as well. And it would include that Independence Park, so that becomes a true gathering space. And of course, I cut out the one part of the Main Street district that is all residential. Next slide. So again, these are my recommendations that we have the Sunday through Thursday from 10 to 10 and Friday and through Saturday from 10 to 11 p.m. I think that one says 12 a.m., but it's not. And then we have the 16-ounce glasses. Next slide. Do you guys have any questions?
Why are you only going until 11 instead of 12? Looks to me like.
Well, so most events downtown are usually done at 11 o'clock. I looked at all of those different events that we have, and my mama used to say nothing good happens after midnight, Mike.
I don't know if she was right.
I'll leave that between you and her.
So I understand that if there's a tavern downtown, or let's say Palucci's, and they walk outside and they're walking down Main Street, they can carry a drink as long as Palucci's is participating,
Correct?
but they can't walk into services or.
Correct. You cannot take alcohol from one establishment into another establishment that serves alcohol. You can only take it
And
into,
the only way to really determine that would be the logo on the cup.
that's why there's a logo on the cup, yes.
But you could theoretically take it into another business downtown that is participating and allows it. Anyone who doesn't allow it is obviously welcome to do that.
I'm lost now. Give me
Yeah,
the.
I'm still a little confused.
Yeah, if two businesses are there in the program, you can take it out of one and go to the other one.
But not if they have a liquor license, because they
If they
serve
have a
alcohol
license.
on their own.
If you buy a beer from Service Brewing and you take it outside, you may not walk into the neighboring Mueller's with your Service Brewing cup.
Can they walk back into services?
No. The cup has to end, because that way nobody can go out and just keep refilling their cup as a precaution.
But you could then walk down Commercial Street
Mm-hmm.
and go into, I'm not sure, Presley Pierce, Presley Pierce or Back Road Atlas, if they are choosing to allow people in.
Is that what the other towns do? They won't let them go into another store?
Well, you can go into another store. It's
No, I mean
because
another liquor store.
right. It's because of the liquor licensing.
I see.
So when you pull a liquor license, you are responsible for all of the liquor sold in there and consumed in there. That is by law.
That's by law.
I see.
The dilemma I'm seeing here is if you're at services and you walk outside and it has services logo on it, and you walk back in the door, are we going to have somebody policing that they can't go back inside?
Well, so that would be up to Service to do that, to police it. I mean, I'm sure that Chief over here doesn't have an officer for every establishment to police that.
I like that, you don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we're going to make it pretty complex.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if you stay on their property, you already can do that.
Right, and you can
already take a drink outside onto Service's lawn and come back inside. That you're staying on their property. If you leave the property, then you are now off the property with your CCA cup, and before you come back on.
No, if it's complete, if it's empty, like if I have a Service Brewing cup and I go down to the riverfront and take a walk and I come back and it's empty, I don't see why because I'm not bringing alcohol back into there, right? If it's empty. If it's full of beer, no, you can't bring it back into their establishment.
Buy a beer and walk down along the river. I think it's
My mom, myself.
Hey, come up here so people can.
Okay, I'm Katie Wagner. I own the Sunflower down in Atchison on 5th Street. Our main goal as a small business is always to get people downtown, all hours, especially when you have a liquor license. It's really fun to do pop-up events like that. Presley Pierce, Jerry's Again, Brittany with the Flower Shop, we always are trying to do collaborations. And so for me, this would be a great idea to come in, grab an espresso martini, go down to Presley's, go shopping, grab flowers, pop-up events like that. In the past, we have had, there was like that bicycle group that came to town, and I tried to get a liquor license through the state to do an event like that, like a pop-up event, and it was not worth the stress that it took. So I could not sell beer outside, even though I have hundreds of bikers coming to town. I couldn't do anything about it. So that's just an example of why I'm all for this.
Is there anybody here that doesn't think it's a good idea?
If you can, Jill, if you have, I assume these folks are members of the chamber or just business
they're
owners?
just here.
Okay, come on up, come on up. Yes, if you do want to say something, please come up to the microphone and identify yourself. We're interested to hear everyone's thoughts.
My name is Jeremy Watkins. My question would be, like, how does that go into effect for like Barstool, which is a community event where everybody is walking around, I mean, unfortunately with beer in their hand, playing golf, you know, for the achievement services, I think is what it's for. So how will that coordinate with, you know, you're in services 1 second, but you're going to walk right over to Mueller's to do the next hole. So how will that play into effect?
So if service is a serving business, they can put it into a CCA cup for you, but you cannot take it in on Mueller's deck. You cannot take it into Mueller's because Mueller's sells alcohol.
Which is the current law
But
already,
yeah,
too.
that's-
So
yes.
that's another.
That's nothing new.
Yeah.
Right, but now, so let's say on the Barstool Open, you are walking, you're at service, and your next stop is Palucci's. So you're going to walk to Palucci's. You can get your beer, you're not quite done with your beer yet. Everybody else in your group is, right? You can get a CCA cup. You aren't holding your group up, you're going on to Palucci's, but you just cannot take it inside Palucci's. So it gives you 2 blocks to finish your beer. Yeah. Yeah, and it makes some things that are happening right now already legal, right? Like, they aren't legal right now, but this would help. So if you go to the next slide for me. So where would it be allowed? It's sidewalks, green spaces, crosswalks, on streets only when blocked off by permit. So you can't just walk down the middle of the street and drink. Not allowed would be parking lots, because there's no businesses in parking lots. Okay? Can people bring their own beverages or stash them in their trunk? The answer is no. This actually makes it illegal to bring your own into the
Establishment.
or into the area, to the district. So, not to rat on anybody, but during First Fridays when they have the car show, every one of those cars has a cooler in their trunk. This would force them to go into establishments and purchase, and then they can stand outside by their car and drink it. So, next. Can they bring beverages? We've already hit that one. No. They cannot take one beverage into another drinking establishment. Okay? So will drinks be allowed during events at Oktoberfest and Amelia Fest? So, and all the other ones that we have. So looking at it, this will be up to the permit holder. So for instance, right now, Amelia Fest, they have their own liquor license down on the green area. And so we could put up signs that say no district cups, but you could still walk up and down the commercial street during the day activities and have a drink in your hand from the wine cellar or from Lopez or Gambino's. And then once you hit the river where they have it closed down for the concert, no district cups are allowed.
So in the current, when we give out permits now for an event like this, you can designate an area and designate a liquor license, a catering license.
Correct.
To serve within that area.
Correct.
So
Catering license would be included.
the catering license would be allowed within
Correct.
this district, and would they end up then with CCA cups from that catering
Yes.
license company? So you could actually have a little more leeway.
Correct. And also, if you have a special permit, so if somebody pulls a permit for just their one event that doesn't usually have a liquor license, there's a normal liquor license, there's a catering liquor license, and then there's a special one-offs, basically, which would be like Amelia Fest. That's a one-off, right? Because they don't have a liquor license all the rest of the year.
They use a caterer.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it's a one-off, but anyway, so one-offs will be also included in that CCA.
Okay, so
They're
that, I
protected.
understand, because I got a little confused. So, for example, with the district, the CCA district, you have that, but then when you have a special event that will be blocked off, then no CCA can go into that special event. With the special event, what happens with those cups?
So they can, if
Okay.
it's okayed by the permit holder.
I see.
And I think the only thing that we would have any issue with would be Amelia Fest, because it is a ticketed, or Muddy River, because it is a ticketed event.
Okay, I see.
So they could, if they put in their permit that they did not want district cups, they would be responsible for, or we would have to put up these signs designating that now this area doesn't allow.
Right.
Even though typically it would. That'd be up to those permit holders.
Yeah, and I mean, they could, I know that they, yeah, anyway.
Okay.
And Amelia's only 4th to the river. You're talking about to 10th.
8th.
8th. I would like
Talking
to,
about to 8th?
Yeah.
And it seems like we're open, there's a whole bunch of cans of worms we haven't seen that have been opened. If someone is at Belushi and they go outside, somebody's going to have to know that we have to stay on their boundaries to be outside.
in the current, with the current law, every establishment that has a liquor license, they have to draw a map of where liquor can be consumed to be in their license. So, for instance, Jerry's again are in her 4 walls, right? The Sunflower, it includes her back patio. So on her map, they have drew this little map of where you can go, and it can't be on sidewalks and all of those things.
So you couldn't walk from Belushi's and down the alley behind wholesale.
Under the current law.
This
would allow
Well, that would be drinking in the street, which we said we have to be on property.
No, we specifically said you don't have to be.
Yeah, that is the
Law, you have to be
yeah.
on property. Under this law, it opens it up so you can leave the property.
Yeah. So currently, the current law is that you cannot leave a drinking establishment's boundaries, which are usually the 4 walls of that establishment, unless they have like a little patio or deck. So that is what is filed with the ABC.
Under the current law.
Under the current law. So a CCA opens it up where even though they still have those boundaries, and those boundaries are in effect if they have a 9 a.m. drinkers, then they can't take it outside. But at 10 a.m., they can take their mimosa and they can walk up and down the street with their mimosa in hand.
In the special cup.
In the special cup. So it alleviates those boundaries for liquor license holders.
Okay, and we said we can't, but you can't drink in any parking.
That would be our request. I mean, you guys can say, yes, you can drink in parking lots, but there's no shopping in parking lots, and there are no,
Sometimes you walk across.
yeah. So just use the sidewalk.
I guess one of my questions is how much leverage do we have as a city over some of these rules versus what the state might possibly have?
Well, that would be up to Chief Wilson to say you can't stand in this parking lot. I guess I don't know what the huge concern is.
There are some state laws involved here, and then there are some
Yeah.
that we can make within the ordinance. And you're right. She is saying that the parking lot request is something that you could decide to not have in the ordinance if that's something.
Yeah, from the feedback I received was, one, so they're going to take my cup and get in their car. Where do they park? They park in the parking lot, right? So then also, what takes them from taking my cup out of my establishment and going to the parking lot and filling it up with the stash in their trunk, right? So, and then there's no shopping in a parking lot. So that is why the reason why I put the recommendation in for no parking lots.
That came from her polling of the establishments within the proposed district. they said they had those concerns, and so that's why she's.
The non-alcoholic serving business.
No, the alcoholic serving businesses. They they just said
Yeah.
it might have come from non-alcoholic serve businesses too, but the reasons she just stated would have been from those who serve alcohol and don't want people taking their CCA cup with their logo on it and going and driving off with it or filling it up with something from the parking.
Okay. Here's another question. This ends at 11 at night.
On Friday and Saturday, if that's what you put, yeah.
Now, if you are at a location at 11:30, will you be violating the law if you're outside? So you have, if you at 11 o'clock, you got to pour your drink out.
Correct. If you're not in the business.
That's crazy, folks.
Well, what do you want? You have to set a deadline at some point. Yeah, current law right now is
You don't drink out.
in the business. You don't have to pour the drink out. If you're walking on the sidewalk, you have to finish your drink at 11 o'clock. You know, I mean, but we talked about enforcement last week. Our police officers at 11:05 are going to say, hey, you need to finish that up. Or they're not going to be going around hardcore ticketing everybody.
All right, at this point, Commissioner Greenlee, not to put you on the spot, but everyone has asked questions. Just want to give you an opportunity. Do you have any comments?
It's clear to me. I mean, if you have the parameters outlined, designated and marked, you have the cup, you have a time frame, that's pretty plain and simple, in my estimate. I get it.
All right.
Well, hey, it's
Yes,
plain and simple.
Vice Mayor.
It's plain and simple, except for everybody in that room right there is confused right now.
Well, I don't know that.
I don't
know
think-
that that's
I don't
the
know if
case.
everybody in the room is confused.
Yeah, I don't think
There are
everybody
a
in the
couple
room.
people may be confused,
Yeah.
but everybody in this room is not confused.
Do you have concerns, Vice Mayor, that you want to bring up?
Well, no, I'm gonna go along with this, although I have a number of reservations. In our business, we already battle people trying to bring in their own drinks now. So rather than paying for a drink, they can go get a 12-pack, put it in the car at half or less the price, and then just running beer in and out. Now, if they've got a cup that they can pour it in and bring it in, it becomes even easier. So there's just some enforcement things that I'm concerned about, but I'm not going to vote to hold it up. I would advise that we go into this and evaluate it as it unfolds and see where the glitches are, or if it just goes smoothly. Hopefully it will go smoothly.
It's a good
Okay.
idea.
All right, that's a good idea. All right,
I think we ought to look at 12 o'clock myself.
well,
I don't know what the problem is there. Do you all close at 11 now, or what? I thought
A
it
lot
was
of
12.
businesses do close at 11.
I don't know. I'm out of touch, I
We have
guess.
that's our current noise ordinance statute, and
What he's talking about is we have two sets of rules. If you're inside the walls of a business and it's a quarter to 12, you can order a glass of wine.
sure,
You can take that glass of wine outside on the patio
sure.
till 11 o'clock.
Still legal to go out
No.
on the patio.
You can, okay,
Talking about
so
leaving the boundaries of the business.
let's use Mueller's for an example because they have an amazing big deck, right? So at 11 o'clock, you're sitting in Mueller's. You can still order a beer, okay? At 11:30, you can go sit on Mueller's deck and drink that beer. You can even at 11:34 order another beer and sit on Mueller's deck. You just cannot put it in a CCA cup, or the bartender cannot give you a CCA cup and walk off their deck.
And go walk down, which you can't do now anyway,
Yeah.
at all.
So, Jill, if I may, the proposed times that you have, which are 10 a.m. To 10 p.m., Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. through 11 p.m., Friday through Saturday, correspond with the times of the businesses, I am assuming. Is that correct?
Yes, I looked at our businesses, and I also looked at, and so the only ones that are open past 11 are Mueller's, what used to be Trotter's, and High Voltage.
Okay. right.
Most everything else is already closed.
Lucci's,
And Palucci's, sorry.
Palucci's.
And Palucci's, yeah.
Even on
Okay.
the weekends, they close at 11?
Most all businesses do, yes. Except for those 4.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or concerns? Yes, Justin.
I was just going to mention perhaps that 11 p.m. time helps with some of what Vice Mayor's concerns are. You know, if you catch that really crowded late night, you know, things are that's when the younger folks would tend to be out, who I would think maybe would tend to do more of what he's suggesting would be, you know, illegal and is now, but would be then. Perhaps that earlier time helps shield against that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're less like, again, the kind of the point is that at 11 p.m. you're less likely to be going out and patronizing other businesses, and because there's really only 4 open, and they are specifically open to serve alcohol.
I wouldn't see the point of this as trying to facilitate like mobile late night roving parties.
Correct.
That's not the point. The point is to try to facilitate the kind of thing that Katie was mentioning, like collaborative, you know, community events where
and provide a little latitude to certain bit. I think we've talked about that. Willie's has said, you know, well, in this case, they could theoretically offer somebody a drink while they wait for a table because they don't have room inside, but they can go sit on the benches outside on the, you know, it creates a little bit of latitude for these businesses as well. Under the current guidelines, they have very strict boundaries.
I think it's a good idea.
So I would just need basically, I think I have it, but in terms of staff, I would basically need direction from a majority of the board to work with Jill on an ordinance. And if you want these timelines, these parameters, or something different as a majority of the board.
You want a motion?
No, I just need each, you know.
Go ahead.
I recommend we explore the possibility of coming up with an ordinance to allow this to take place.
Okay.
All right. I'm interested in the exploration.
I think you have consensus.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll work
One
on
thing
it.
I'd say is I don't understand, if the merchants involved don't want it till midnight, that's fine. They do, I think we ought to look at that till midnight. I don't see.
Well, in every business, regarding whether they are a drinking establishment or a normal retail business, they have the right to say, I'm not going to participate.
Sure.
They have the right not to let drinks into their business. They have the right to say, we're not going to be in CCA, and we're not letting any out of our establishment either. I mean, that's their right as a business owner.
Okay. And of the businesses that you were able to speak to, are most, if not all of them, in support of this?
As far as bars and restaurants are concerned, there are 2. I'm not for sure. Larry I haven't gotten to talk to him one-on-one with Coach, but I have one that is not willing to participate, which is totally fine. We sat down and talked it over, and I've had one that hasn't responded, but all of the rest of them are on board. Okay. As far as retail, I hosted 2 different meetings, and everyone that showed up was all for it as well. I've also visited with Chief Wilson, and we've talked through any ifs, ands, or buts about it as well.
Okay. All right. And Chief, do you have anything to add at this time?
No.
Okay. 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 All right. Very good.
Anything else?
If you're going to put this in service, it'd be good to have before St. Patrick's Day.
That's not going to happen.
That'll be too quick. It wouldn't, even if we approved it tonight, it wouldn't publish in time. But
Duly noted,
feedback.
however. Duly noted. All
Okay,
right.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. And does anyone else have any comments that you would like to have addressed or duly noted in the record? Okay.
Glad that Jill's pursuing things like this.
Okay. All right. If not, thank you so very much. Thank you. All right. We will continue on now for the public forum. And persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Again, speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for informational purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk, who is Ms. Tina Fitzpatrick right there. All right, we will open the public forum at 5:05. All right, do we have anyone here wishing to address the commission on items that are not on the agenda? All right, if not, we will also close the public hearing at 5:06. All right, next we will have Mr. Westhoff, our city manager, with the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. So we have 3 items on the consent agenda, but we're going to be recommending to remove one of them. So I'll go into that in a minute. The first is to approve the minutes of the February 17th, 2026 City Commission meeting. Second is to approve the trash hauler license, Defenbaugh? Is that how? Defenbaugh, excuse me. Defenbaugh Industries, DBA, WM of KS. And then the third is the item that we are going to recommend removing, which was to approve a payment to Strong Body Shop for repairs to a police vehicle. Since we added that to the agenda, we further discussed and we heard back from our insurance company, and they've decided that they're going to total that vehicle, which changes our process, and we're going to move forward with receiving the payment from them instead of doing the repairs. And then we'll send them the vehicle and look to buy a new one.
Okay.
I'd move that we approve the consent agenda as amended there.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the amended consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, our new business, board openings, and we'll have Mr. Westhoff, if you'd like to walk us through
Sure.
the board openings.
So we advertised for several openings on resident boards. We had the Atchison Library Board had 1 opening. The Design Review Committee continues to have an opening for a representative from local industrial business. And then the Park and Forestry Board currently has 2 openings for any city resident who is interested. We received 1 application for the Atchison Library Board. That's from Miss Elizabeth Lane, North 8th Street in Atchison. Staff had no concerns with this and would recommend moving forward with approval.
Okay, do we have any questions or concerns for Mr. Westhoff? And I would entertain a motion.
I'll move that we accept this
Elizabeth Lane.
requirement from Mrs. Lane.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we appoint Elizabeth Lane to the 1 expired term ending in 4/30/26 for the Atchison Library Board. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to Elizabeth Lane.
And you'll note that one will come up again. She's taking over an unexpired term.
Yes.
That ends in April,
April.
so it'll come open again. We'll see if she wants
it
to
is.
continue. Yes, that's correct, yeah. The next is that every year there are a number of boards and committees that have open seats for either city commissioners or city staff, someone that the city commission should appoint to that board. So I thought we should go through these this year as well. The current appointments are on the board. We have the Community Corrections Advisory Board, and the current appointment is Commissioner Slattery. We have the Project Concern Board, and the current appointment is Commissioner Greenlee. We have the Chamber of Commerce Board, and the current appointment is Commissioner Murphy. And then we have the County Solid Waste Committee. Currently, the city has appointed Commissioner Slattery. However, in the most recent meeting of that committee, we went through the bylaws. There are actually 2 other city appointments that are currently on that board, as well as one additional opening for a city appointment. So we currently have Mr. Derek Franklin is sitting as a city appointee on that board. We have our Public Works Director, Clinton McNamee, sitting as an appointee on that board. We have Commissioner Slattery, and then we have an empty seat. So we have kind of a fourth opening there to discuss.
Okay. Well, at this time, first, let's take our current appointments. As you said, Committee Corrections Board, Commissioner Slattery, Project Concern Board, Commissioner Greenlee, Chamber of Commerce Board, Commissioner Murphy, Solid Waste Committee, Commissioner Slattery. Gentlemen, do you want to continue? Does anyone want to change? Are we happy with how things are now?
I think Commissioner Wilcox could serve with us on that solid waste committee. We
Vice
need to
Mayor?
add that.
Yes, Vice Mayor, would you be willing to serve on the Solid Waste Committee?
Yes, I had previously been on that.
Okay, wonderful.
That'd be fine.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. So Vice Mayor will be added to the Solid Waste Committee. Okay. All right, and gentlemen, we are good with all of the boards as we see right now? Okay, if not, I would move that we accept the board / committee appointments as follows. Community Corrections Advisory Board, Commissioner Slattery. Project Concern Board, Commissioner Greenlee. Chamber of Commerce Board, Commissioner Murphy. Solid Waste Committee, Commissioner Slattery, and adding Vice Mayor Wilcox. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we accept these appointments. If there are no further questions or discussions or concerns, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen.
And then
Mr.
I would just
Westhoff?
want to confirm that you're okay with the 2 seats on the solid waste board staying the same.
Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. All right, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. All right, and thank you for your work on that. Next, we will have Mr. Clinton McNamee for a right-of-way mowing contract.
Okay, since 2019, Public Works has contracted the mowing of the following areas: US 59 Highway, US 73 Highway, K7 Highway, Woodlawn Avenue, Riverview Drive, and then the medians up in the North Hills neighborhood. Last year, last mowing season was the third and final year of renewing that contract via locking in the same rates before we go out to advertise for competitive bids, which is what we've done this year. We received 2 bids this year. The bid from the previous year's contractor came in about 60% higher than what we've been seeing the last few years. The low bid from Urban Lawn Care came in initially at 39% higher than what we'd seen the last few years. So staff is recommending removing one of the areas, which is Woodlawn Avenue, from that list. That would bring a round of mowing to $3,225, which is about 7.5% over what we are been accustomed to, because we did not budget for a 40 to 60% increase in contracted services. So contract basically is set up that we don't want to see the contractor coming back any quicker than 10 days in between mowings. There's a max of 18 rounds of mowing. So that's in the 2 to 3 mowings per month for 6 months kind of range. A lot of times we don't hit the maximum of 18 from what I understand. We have the ability to, if we run into a drought for a month or more, to have that conversation with the contractor and say, let's hold off on mowing because we don't want you just out there mowing to mow to obligate this contract. So we do have some work there, some to play with the contract a little bit. And so far, we've always been able to work that out every year. It's not been an issue. The authorization that I'm requesting is based on that $3,225 for a maximum of 18 rounds of mowing, which comes to $58,050.
Okay. And I noticed that you recommend removing Woodlawn Avenue. That won't place an undue burden on our staff.
Well, with anything, there's, putting our staff on that will have some opportunity cost somewhere else, but it's just one area.
Okay.
If you noticed on the breakdown of the cost, Woodlawn was not the most expensive bid item. However, it is similar to US 73 is the one that was a little bit higher. 73 would be a lot more time and hardship to mow. It's not a fun job to mow some of these right-of-way areas, and that's probably why you're seeing these price increases.
Okay.
So Woodlawn's about, in terms of acreage and levelness and not being right next to traffic all the time and lower speed, all the things that you factor in. Woodlawn is probably most people would agree that it's a nicer mow than US 73, and for not that much less.
Okay.
So that was the one we opted for.
Okay.
The only thing I'd like to say here is if we get a chance to extend that mowing period a little bit, we could save maybe one mowing, it'd be $4,000, $3,000.
Yep.
Instead of mowing it every 10 days or something, even we went to 12 days once in a while or 15 days or something like that. If we can do that, I'd like to see us do it if we can.
Yeah, like I said, when we get periods of where we don't get a lot of rain and there's not much
Right.
grass growth, we try to push that back as much as we can. However, there are spots, like the one that sticks out in my head is 10th and Skyway, where the landscape bed is and the pedestrian bridge that goes across White Clay. If we haven't also done a good job of keeping our broadleaf weeds under control, and we don't mow, weeds seem not to care about the drought. Grass does, but the weeds grow, and then we end up with kind of it doesn't look good. So in that case, we would insist on mowing.
Yeah.
That. But usually, if the grass is growing, if the weeds aren't taking over, we'll hold off the contractor as long as we can.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to be out mowing if the grass is not growing.
Do they mow per request, or do they just mow?
They usually fly autopilot, on their own, unless.
Unless we specify something.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it isn't like they're sitting there waiting for us to call them.
Only in certain occasions, like where I think we've even gotten written in the RFP that we'd sent out that like there might be like the Amelia Fest, for example, where we know that's coming, and despite where their previous mowing lined up in advance of that, we want our entrances to the town to look as good as they can, and so that might be an exception where they do mow it quicker than the 10-day interval.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion. I will move that we authorize staff to hire Urban Lawn Care for mowing services not to exceed $58,050 for the 2026 mowing season.
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions, concerns? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, Gurrier Hill, Mr. McNamee.
All right. So for folks that might not be familiar with the term Gurrier Hill, that is, it's technically a separate park from Jackson Park, although a lot of folks just consider it as the back part of Jackson Park. A few years ago, the city was awarded a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, which is National Park Service funding that's administered through the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. The grant was for the construction of a viewing platform at Gurrier Hill. The grant was based on a $160,000 cost estimate, and the grant is 50-50, therefore up to a max grant amount of $80,000, which makes the $160,000 project. We advertised the project last year for sort of a design-build situation. The bid came back. The one bid we got was
around 240,000. I think it was 246,000 to be exact. Way over what we were budgeting for and planning, so we went back to the drawing board. First, we went to the designer that helped us with the concept design, like that one. That was done back in 2018, I think, that drawing. Went back to them, kind of scaled down the design to the bare minimum it would take to get this thing done. Worked through that, and then we looked at contracting with a metal fabrication company. And I was just thinking the metal fabrication. Initially, I was thinking we would assemble the actual structure. However, the two companies that we got bids from did submit bids for putting it together. And that is what I'm proposing tonight. There's also other phases. We've got bids for concrete. It's under the amount that the commission needs to authorize. And then there'd be, maybe some other odds and ends things, all things underneath what the commission level authorization is. However, when it's all said and done, the grant eligible component of the project we're expecting to be to total. So that's the city guys buying the composite decking to install with city crews. That's doing this contract that we're asking for tonight for the metal fabrication and installation, and the concrete footings and the concrete parking upgrade. We're looking at $110,000 when you add all that together. The contract tonight proposed contract is with HME Incorporated out of Topeka, and the contract amount $72,672 with a total authorization up to $75,000 to manage any change orders or price changes. I tried to reach out to them recently because this quote is getting a little age on it to see if that's still valid, and he was going to verify but didn't. I was too late to ask that question, so I didn't get the response back yet, but I'm hoping that the $75,000 will cover that. Based on the example he gave me of a recent price change, it should be more than enough unless something has really drastically changed with metal prices in the last month.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
How much do we have in the CIP?
All right.
But we're gonna some of the other work we're planning to do, like you said, we're gonna be installing the decking and doing some in-kind work as well.
Yeah, so we'll have a concrete contractor come in and put the footings in. Then this company, HME, will come in. Well, before all that happens, they'll be fabricating the handrails and the guardrails and the columns and that sort of thing. And then they'll come in, install that on the footings. And then the city will come in, we'll purchase I think we priced it from downtown, come in and get the composite decking. It's wooden, like joists, I guess, I don't know if that's the right term or not. And then composite decking on that, we're going to install it.
So how big is this thing gonna be, this deck?
20 by 30, I think, are the dimensions.
I have a question. The tree area there, is that also part of Garrier Hill, or is that private property? What is that?
To the east?
Yes.
That's part of the. Actually, I wouldn't say that actually is technically. It might be wrapped in there with Jackson Park. If you were to look at it on a parcel map, it's all owned by the city of Atchison, so you don't see the lines.
Oh, I see.
But that's the cliff.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Down
I
to the
see.
river.
That's the cliff.
But Garrier Hill is 17 acres. If you
Okay.
add it up.
Okay.
A few years ago, I was going to come to the commission with a request to designate Garrier Hill as its own park.
I remember.
So we didn't actually do it though.
Yeah, we didn't.
Because when I looked up the deeds,
Yeah.
that's how it came to the city, was it had to be its own park.
Yeah.
And people kind of lost that to time a little bit. So it was, from the get-go, it was its own park. And then I had to do a little bit of convincing with the National Parks folks.
I remember, yeah.
Because they want us to, part of this is going to be us putting signage there.
Yeah.
It's going to be updating our website to make sure that this isn't just part of Jackson Park. It's going to have its own identity. And there's, nothing costly necessarily other than the signage, I suppose.
Okay.
But we just need to make sure that's the case. The consequence, call it a consequence, Jackson Park, to include Gary Hill, is like over 100 acres. Gary Hill is 17 acres. To get land and water for one thing at Gary Hill would encompass the entire park into that grant program's requirements. Where we're technically to comply, we're having to bury all of our overhead lines, which is a good thing, but it's kind of costly to just do it all at once. And anytime we make a change to the park, it's kind of got to route through them first.
Right.
And so that was my intent, was to preserve Gary Hill as its own thing, but it was already that. So we didn't officially need to do anything with it in terms of business. I think we might have symbolically, but it was already technically its own.
There's no
individual
restroom
park.
facilities in
No.
Carrier.
No, the vision we're kind of looking for is to keep that part, not to create an entirely new, we've got a lot of parks. We got playgrounds and restrooms and picnic areas, with the exception of maybe picnicking up there. I think the idea was to kind of leave it more of as natural as it can be and not try to develop it into something that it's not. Just a scenic vista that people can drive through. And I mean, they already do that now. We would also plan to clear those trees out a bit. Not necessarily directly east, but like more. Like if you're standing on that deck is located where the old mushroom shelter was. And if you kind of stand out there, you can kind of imagine like a 90 to 100 degree window where you're catching the downtown on your left, the bridge, and then to your right, you're catching some of the floodplain over on the Missouri side.
Okay.
You can't see much of the river until you look upstream because of all the trees that are in the way. So we would do some work to try to improve that view a little bit.
So is this going to be out on the cliff a little ways out? Like it's going to have some tall piers underneath it? Or is
It's going to be elevated. It's not over a cliff or anything. It's like I said, if you can kind of picture where that mushroom shelter was, that concrete.
That was quite a ways in. Wasn't it?
Yeah, if you're coming down off the hill, it'd be off to your left, and it's kind of downhill. So the way I look at it is the height of the deck is probably similar to what the height of the roof would have been on the mushroom shelter. Just gains you a little bit extra. It's going to be kind of flat with the parking, but higher than the ground that it's actually mounted on.
There's quite a hill there, as you can see on the elevation.
Yes.
And if you go out there and you look at it, so it's going to be basically extending that area level with the parking out into the overlook where you can see a little bit better off into the overlook areas.
Okay.
We had looked at a project that would try to extend it out, directly east of that parking area. Steep drop.
Straight down.
And, there was some concerns about how stable that actually is. And so the easier thing was and that would give you a great view directly east of the floodplain over there. You wouldn't catch as much of the downtown and the bridge and the bend in the river as coming downstream. But we think the current location kind of provides that a little better blend of floodplain and then the upstream shot of the river and Atchison.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Do we have any other questions or concerns for Mr. McNamee on the Gary Hill overlook? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make such a motion.
All right. It's been moved. Is there a second? All right. It's been moved and seconded that city staff to hire HME Inc. to fabricate, assemble, and install the metal framework, support columns, and guardrails of Gary Hill Park overlook platform in the amount of $72,672 with an overall authorization of $75 to manage minor change orders. Any other questions, concerns, discussion? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. Is Vice Mayor still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he say aye?
Oh, yes.
He votes yes.
Okay. All right. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, Mr. McNamee, skate park phase 11.
Phase 2.
Phase 2 construction. Phase 2 construction.
You guys get aggressive. We
Yes.
Phase 11. The whole city's a skate park.
Yes.
Terrorizing me.
Yes. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It matches with their fervor. So that's good. Okay, Mr. McNamee.
All right, so similar to the initial phase of the skate park construction, we started out with a memorandum of understanding, which is kind of between the city and the Skate High with Hope, the Joshua Kinsman Foundation. And we got Jeremy Watkins and Pamela Klein here tonight of that foundation. So a memorandum, a MOU, I'll call it, it's easier to say, is basically just an instrument to delineate the responsibilities of each party as we go through the process and make sure everybody's on the same page, sort of thing. So we did an MOU. It's included in this proposed MOU as an attachment, an exhibit, just for reference, but then we've proposed a second MOU specific to the current phase of proposed skate park improvements. Having said that, last year during the budget season, the CIP was approved with a budget of $350,000 for the construction of this second phase, contingent upon the foundation raising $150,000 of that $350,000 budget and the city supplying the rest. The proposed improvements, basically it's the addition of a bowl, which think of a concrete swimming pool with curved edges and walls, and then a pump track, which is imagine a sidewalk with humps, and I don't know if it's got banks in it or not, but just a sidewalk that's got humps in it. Reached out to the, and that $350,000 was based on the construction estimate a year ago. Reached out again for a construction estimate. It's higher. It's in the 390s. However, there are opportunities, just like there were last year. There are opportunities to do in-kind work or support. So, we did that last time as well. Got maybe some dirt sourced from somewhere, or Jeremy and Pam provided the lodging for the crew. And there's ways to cut that number down. So it is a little concerning that it's jumped up that much in a year, but also there are opportunities to work towards getting that back down and still, and this isn't locking us into anything other than to say that we'll reach out to I guess it locks us into the designer and builder of the last project. They are they're in a purchasing co-op that the city's a member of, and a lot of times you kind of bypass the need for competitive bidding with these purchasing co-ops because that's already been done on a larger scale. It's like when we buy a vehicle off a state contract sort of thing. The other item there would be that we didn't buy a set of plans that we could take and give to other builders to bid on. Pillar and Artisan are the designer and the builder. They are not the same company, but they are paired together. Pillar does design for other companies as well. However, the package that we built the first time and the package that we're proposing coming up is not a design bid build. It's a design build package, and so there would be additional costs associated with trying a different route. It'd almost be like starting from scratch. It would probably, maybe not, depending on how it was packaged, definitely push the project off to 27. It's hard to say that for sure because you don't know who might bid on a project like this. So that's all. I say all that just to say that's the only thing really in here that we're committing to, is that we're saying that the city will utilize the designer and the builder that we used last time. And we do not have a construction contract yet. The builder, Artisan, has had an opening pop up in the spring. That would be the ideal thing to target if we're truly looking at a 2026 project. If we wait very much longer, there's always the potential that their schedule could fill up, and we're getting pushed to 2027 anyway. The foundation is at about 95% of its fundraising level. We've talked prior, like it was last week, I think we talked. You know, they're curious if the commission's going to want staff to put a hold on any progress on like locking in a schedule, anything like that, until they've officially hit the mark with the fundraising, or can the in-kind contributions that they can come up with, you know, if that can surpass the amount remaining, maybe even going so far as to lowering the overall cost that the city has to put in as well, is that potential going to be enough to allow the commissioners to feel okay about maybe moving forward before that true number is hit? Because I think if we wait, it's not guaranteed, but we may lose the potential to get that spring spot and maybe lose a spot for the rest of this if their schedule builds up, so or fills up, excuse me. And so the MOU is what I'm actually asking for authorization to get into with. However, I'm also asking for a consensus, a feeling as if I come back in the first meeting in April, let's say, with a construction contract, and they're at 95% or 97%, you know, whatever it might be, is that going to be a sticking point with the commission? Is there some sort of blended way we could do this to make sure we're not delaying the project in hopes that that number would get met? Or if by that point we might have some pretty solid in-kind planning, and we can factor that in. So that's kind of what I'm trying to articulate. Hopefully I'm not confusing everybody, but
No, it makes sense. I guess, well, first of all, congratulations on getting, you said they're about 95% of the way there. So how much is that? Can you give a dollar figure on what that is?
For present, we're at 142,300.
Okay, all right. And if you want to please come and join Mr. McNamee, so that, and then speak into the microphone so that our folks on Facebook can also hear. So you said 142,000.
So we're almost about $7,500 away from hitting our target goal of 150,000.
Okay, all right, okay. That's very good. In-kind donations, what were you thinking in terms of in-kind? What will that look like?
I think last time with our in-kinds, we need to know more of a time frame so we can do housing or get discounted housing for the people that come in and build it. Kind of hard to go get that in-kind if you say sometime this year. You know, the places around here want to know more of a breakdown. Are you talking about spring? Are you talking about fall? Are you talking about summer? So that's one of the reasons why we're also looking at trying to get it done in spring. Other things that we do for in-kind is we know people with trucks, bobcats that can push and load dirt in the city. That also brings down the cost of some of the in-kinds.
So the in-kind worked the opposite way the first time we did this. We just got to a point where we said, let's do it, the kids need it. So the in-kind actually, we raised the right amount of money, but the in-kind that we got gave us more to the park. I think that helped develop the sidewalk and some other things to it. So I asked the contractors this year, can the in-kind work the opposite way now? Because, you know, this is it. Like, this is going to finish the project. So he says, yes, any in-kind that you can do will take off that dollar amount. So, yes, it went up $43,000, but looking at the pieces of it, I think now we can go after it and start getting it down even below the $350,000 mark. We've got family that can do some work. We were able to work well with Clinton last time to get some of that stuff done to save some of that cost. And, you know, I think it just gives us a go ahead to do that. And like she said, it's hard to, like housing and transportation to and from the site was a big, I think it was like almost 30,000 of that project. You know, and if we know that we can do that, we can start looking at places to see if we can't help find that lodging sooner than later and lock in a price that can save that money. So
I'd like to have us look at take another bid from another contractor too.
So
We can get that done real fast here.
can I elaborate a little bit off what he, because when you were saying, I got people that you might not understand. When we first did this, we had to pay $5,000 to $10,000 just for design itself. So that right there took a big chunk of our first money that we raised. And so when they built that design, of course they built it off what the kids chose at that time. And so if we were to do a whole nother design or go with another company, we would have to out of pocket pay for that design as well of another company.
No, I meant to solicit a bid from somebody for the design and the construction. Solicit a bid. If anybody wants to bid on it, let them bid on it. If not, we can stay with where we are.
You have to,
I believe they own the design, don't
but
they?
does that,
you have to come up with the parameters for the bid.
when we did this originally,
Which I don't
it was for a complete park. We just had to break it down in phases because of us going out there. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but when we went out the very first time asking for donations, people looked at us and kind of laughed. Like, yeah, okay. Well, now it happened, and we got it as a total park. So that's why I was even asking him, are we able to use the same people that have been with us since day one? You know, they're still there to support us. I would feel like we undermine part of that from these people that have been with us. I would like them to finish our project.
Well, but if they raise the price $40,000, I mean, I just think it's very important to take bids on everything.
Well,
And we can get a bid on this. We can get a bid pretty quick here from some company that does this too, and give them the rough idea of what we want, and see how it compares with what we're planning right now. It wouldn't cost us anything to get this bid. I think it's something we could do.
If you want to open it up to a whole new design, build, bid process, that is not a quick step. You have to put together the parameters of the project that you're going to put out for bid. You have to have a timeline for open bidding, right? That companies can take their time to actually design the project and put it together. You have to have a bid analysis and then awarding and all of those things. Yeah, I'm just saying that's not a quick process at all.
I realize that, but I think
we have a
there's
design in hand that went through the process before. We have a builder who meets the open bid qualifications. They've been willing to work with you guys on pricing in the past in the first phase, as well as Clinton's in communications with them on the pricing. We have a hard cap budget on this. We're not going to go over 350.
Didn't they do the first half already?
They did the first half.
First half,
Yes.
so
They know the project. They've been part of a partnership with our community foundation here
I
that's
believe
been
we had to
involved.
pay for them to do the survey.
Survey.
We've already paid a lot of the original cost to build something. I just would hate to prepay another.
I don't think it'd be any repay if we just put it up for bids. We already got this. If we paid for it, it's our design.
It's also not just concrete companies that.
I realize that. There's people that specialize in it.
Yeah.
You know, there's several companies that specialize in it that I've been made aware of. And I think we need to give these other companies a chance to build it at least, if not also have an alternative design. I think it's something that's worth doing. I know we need to get it done, but I just think there's a potential here to save an awful lot of money. That's what I've been found informed on. I think it's something we need to look at. We're just going to postpone things for just not very long. We can look at this other alternative possibility. We might come up with a better design we like better and come up with less money. For one thing, there's several local companies in Kansas City even. And this company here, where's it from now? Oregon, or is it from the East Coast? Illinois. It's going to cost them a lot of money to stage over here. It's going to cost them $20,000 just to stage over here. And if a company out of Kansas City can do it there's a lot of possibilities. I just think we need to look at it. I really think it's very important. It's our responsibility to spend taxpayers' money the best we can. And I think if we can look at something like that, we need to look at it.
This
Then
is
you
also
can make the decision where we want to go.
this is also a project that has over 50% total buy-in from a local organization that's putting the money towards it.
Well, we still got a lot of our city money involved in this. I think we need to, I just think it's very important that we do it. Give them a chance to bid it at least, you know.
Okay, and the MOU, just so that we can reiterate, this MOU, again, will allow you all to continue with the forward momentum. It, as I read it, it allows for in-kind, is that right? So that with those in-kind donations, do we have any sort of, because I understand, oops, sorry, didn't mean to throw my pen at you. I understand Commissioner Slattery's concern, thank you very much, sir. But those in-kind donations, do we have any sort of approximate amount of money that could be saved?
There's actually a breakdown.
Okay, okay.
There's a breakdown of everything from lodging to concrete costs, and that goes back to your point. It's not that they raised it, I mean, it's the inflation of all the materials and all that stuff. But there's still enough key breakaways in that to meet or even lessen that number that we proposed to you. You know, trust me, I don't want to spend any more of the city's money than our own, right? I mean, we've been fighting this for a long time. It's right there, and when I heard spring's a possibility, it made it that more impactful that we can finally finish this. I understand where you're coming from with the bid.
I don't think you're talking about something different.
I'm telling you it is.
What I'm getting at is they fill up very quick, so if we miss that spring deadline, we're gonna be doing this whole process again with the new set of people possibly, and I don't know how long that's gonna be. It might be 27, it might be 28, 29. I can't say that, but if I got an opportunity now, I wanna fight for that. And I'm no disrespect to anybody, but I wanna fight for that spot because I promise you I can make that number and get that number below 350,000 by end time.
Okay, and then if we elongate this, the price may just
It might
continually increase.
It might be a lot cheaper too.
Look at our airport.
Okay, all right, any other questions, concerns,
Yes,
Commissioner Green?
I have a comment. I have a comment, please.
Vice Mayor has a comment. Go ahead, Larry.
You know, I'm going to go just the opposite, not to be contrary, but for a $7,000 difference in an almost $1 million project, that's such a minimal difference that I would hate to see us wait any longer, because having to wait this long is increased the cost significantly, and I doubt that costs are going to go down anytime soon, either in materials or labor or whatever. So $7,000 short at this time, whatever you can make up in gift in kind or one last surge in fundraising, you know, to get you to that amount, there could be a $7,000 cost difference in a month. You know,
You
so
get a bid that comes in at $50,000 less too.
well, I don't have any numbers that confirm that there would be less. So I hate to hold it up on it might be less.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Murphy, did you have any comments, concerns?
I'm so proud of these people.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Great what you've done.
it is.
By the same token, I think we should have had another bid on it. I think we need to do another bid. If it postpones it for a little while, I'm sorry, but I just feel real adamant that we need to have a second bid on it.
When we started the project, I mean, it wasn't like only one.
All right, I am also proud of you as well, and I think that raising the, 95% of your goal is commendable, especially with some of the issues that we have going on. So at this point, I'm going to cough, so excuse me.
Excuse me, I would also encourage that the foundation submit a check to the city for whatever money they have currently, so that money is in the city's pocket, ready to go towards this project as soon as construction resumes. and that they continue their efforts and hopefully can bust it through that last few $1,000s.
And
Okay.
part of it is, yeah, part of this MOU is to kind of solidify that. I know that some of the money you received is through grants, so we can chat about if those grants require you to pay a contractor directly, or if you can, so we can talk about those things, but yes, I mean, I'd also love to help you out with that.
Okay, all right. So, great job. I definitely am support of moving forward with it, not to quibble with you, Commissioner Slattery, because I certainly understand the importance of taxpayer dollars, but I would like to see this go forward, and I definitely commend you all for your commitment to this community and in memoriam of your son. If I remember correctly, this is to honor your son. At this point, do we have a motion to authorize city staff?
I'd like to ask one question here. If we got a chance to get somebody to bid the construction part of it, that, if they could, we could have them bid off of our plans now. I don't see where that would bother any time frame at all. We give them a notice to bid it in 3 weeks here or something.
So
The construction part alone could save a lot of money here, from what I've been told by people that are familiar with these parks.
Okay, so what I would say to that is we do not, I couldn't produce a set of blueprints that you could build off of right now today. Even after the first, I didn't have it from the first project. So the designer has a certain level of plans that they produce for the company that they're partnered with. If they were to, they would have done a more expanded scope of design if we would have hired Pillar to bid it out to other construction companies. So right off the bat, if we were to go to Pillar and ask for plans for any company to bid on,
Yeah.
that would be a higher design cost than what they're going to factor into that estimate that we got updated. It's just a percentage, of the current estimate now, because they have a shorthand with the current builder that they don't need to go to that level.
They're not robust enough to go out for a full open bid. They have a relationship with this builder where they give them an abbreviated set of plans that they've worked out together. It's not robust enough to put it out for a full bid. That's what they have said. And
I see. If I may, I think Vice Mayor had something that he wanted to contribute.
Well, I just had a question as to who owns those plans. Does the builder own the plans, or does the foundation own the plans? If the builder owns the plans, they're not going to give them to you.
Right. We already paid for them, so the
well, we
builder
paid
of the
for
foundation.
we paid for phase one.
The foundation owns.
So
For phase one.
there's a difference between the construction plans and the concept design.
Well, I've been
If
told
the
that
foundation
there's
spent
companies in Kansas
5 to
City that
10,000.
do both. They do both. So they take your concept of a plan and make it a construction plan, and that same company does it both. That's what I've been told in Kansas City. There's companies in Kansas City, 2 companies that do that. And I just think we ought to give them a chance to bid on it. At least, and they bid on the construction alone or not, give them the concept and let them, I don't see what we're losing by doing this. And we have a chance to save quite a bit of money. This thing where we had this deal where I had told you about Banks is bidding this, what was it, $100,000 less? This is the same kind of thing. I think it's that important. I really think we should.
If we open it up to everybody, I think we scrap any thought of what the current cost estimate is. If Pillar and Artisan have to bid a new project completely, it'll be a higher price. I'm pretty confident about that. And it's possible that some other company would come in at a lower price. And then we have to make that judgment call of whether that other company has built 1 skate park or 1,000. And we got to look at the quality of the current skate park that was built by the contractor that we're proposing. Has it been having issues? Has it been in good condition for the last 4 or 5 years, however long it's been? All those things have to wrap into that. It would, yes, calling up one company that we know and say, can you get me a price for design and construction, and here's a little sketch I made of what we're wanting to do. They could probably turn it around pretty quick.
Yeah.
But how is that any more fair?
That is not an open bid process.
That, you know,
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
No, we went through the co-op, which it meets the requirements of open bidding processes.
I don't care.
So I'm just saying that, like, if you open it up that way, it's, the parameters are much bigger. And the whole point of these co-ops is to be able to look through a group of contractors, designers, all kinds of things, be able to, the comparison has already been done. The open bidding side of it has already been done. And you can go through and select the one that meets your guidelines. If the companies you're talking about took part in that, then they were already part of the open bid process. If they did not take part in that co-op, then they were not part of the open bid. But they were invited as part of the co-op's open bidding process. They were invited to bid on that as well, which is the whole point of those co-ops. It enables us to move forward on a project, having chosen through the open parameters, having chosen through our parameters which contractor meets our needs and our budget. Again, we're setting a hard budget on this of $350,000. We will not go over that budget with $150 or in kind from the foundation and $200 or in kind from the city. So we will meet that, and the current MOU does not say that we will sign a contract with these companies. It says that we will start negotiating that. It says that we will talk about limiting the scope of work. It says that we will talk about in-kind work to get to that point. So you will still have an opportunity to review a contract with this company, or if we can't come to a negotiated agreement with that company, then we're going to have that, we can have that bigger discussion at that time. But the whole point of this is authorizing us to have those negotiations, to talk about reducing the scope of work to fit that, to investigate in-kind work on both sides, put together some kind of timeline, and potentially relieve them from having that money sitting in a bank account that they're probably a little uncomfortable about having it there. So it does not say, it says that we will work with those two entities to begin finalizing the scope of work and negotiating the construction contract.
I'm going to move that we include some of these other companies that I've heard about in this negotiation, either by bidding or whatever. I'm going to move that we do that before we do this.
Okay, there's a motion.
Okay. 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 Is there a second on this motion?
I'd say no second.
Okay. If not, we're going to, then the motion dies. All right, at this time, I will move that we authorize city staff to sign the proposed memorandum of understanding with Skate High, with Hope and Joshua Kinsman Foundation to define the responsibilities of both parties as they relate to the execution and funding of the second phase of construction of the skate park at Reesner Park. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any other questions, concerns, comments? If not, we're ready for a vote. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion carries with 4 commissioners voting aye and 1 commissioner voting nay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Clinton, you are still up. Water waste treatment, UV system controller.
If I could just backtrack on
Yep,
one,
sure.
I'm thinking over the next few weeks as commissioners have their one-on-ones with the city manager, if there could be some sort of conversation about, can we move forward with, you know, working on this or not? It seems like
You just got approval in the MOU to move forward
Okay,
with this under the guidelines of that MOU, which are
no,
to finalize the scope of work, work on construction scheduling and negotiating the final.
I guess let me be
construction
specific. I don't want to present a construction contract to you and they're at 97%, and that's going to be a sticking point. So that's kind of what I'm asking about.
I can tell you now, I would be comfortable with continuing with the project because you have a solid track record of fundraising. As you said, it's within $7,000 of the end goal, and then also understanding that you may have in kind. Clinton, you said that the city would have in kind, so I'm comfortable with it. I don't know what anyone else is. Gentlemen? Okay, Commissioner Greenley's fine with it. Commissioner Murphy, you were nodding. You're fine with it. Commissioner Slattery?
I'm still dragging my feet.
Okay, all right. You still thinking about it? Vice Mayor, are you comfortable?
I've thought about it quite a bit, to tell you the truth, I think, but whatever.
Okay.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay, all right, and Vice Mayor's fine.
thank you.
Okay, all right, very good.
All right, so the UV system down at the wastewater treatment plant, it's a system that douses the wastewater flow, leaving the plant with ultraviolet light to deactivate or disrupt the reproductive systems of the microorganisms that are harmful, such as like E. coli, that sort of thing, before it goes back out into nature. There is a controller, it's called a PLC, that takes all the different factors such as the amount of flow going through the system, the water level, the clarity, and it decides how much UV intensity and exposure needs to be dosed to the flow. We budgeted $50,000 in the CIP this year to replace bulbs like we do every year, and then we beefed that up to include this PLC controller. The actual controller itself is quoted as $30,886.40 from Trojan Technologies, which is the proprietary company over the UV system. And we're asking for that authorization plus $1,000 for any incidental change orders that might come along.
Okay, any questions for Mr. McNamee on this? If not,
I'll
ready?
make a motion to authorize city staff to purchase wastewater treatment UV system PLC installation from Trojan Technologies in the amount of $30,886.40 with an additional budget authority of $1,000 to cover potential.
Okay, is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize city staff to purchase a wastewater treatment UV system PLC. If there are no further discussions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Mr. McNamee. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Westhoff, communications.
All right, handful of items in there for you tonight. The first three are the scope and timings of our annual audit, as well as the engagement letter and the consent to conduct that audit. You'll note possibly that the name of the firm might not look fully familiar. We have a contract to continue with the same firm this year. But they were part of a merger. It's the same people that have been on site every year in the past for us doing our audit. We will go out for bid on that this year for the future contract. But the name of the firm changed, but it's the same entity.
Okay,
So,
but and the same individuals.
same individuals who've been helping with the audit.
Okay.
Yeah, for last 3 years, 2 years. Okay, so up to 5 years.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and just a reminder, we have an annual audit, as all municipalities in the state of Kansas submit to. We've received really great results the last few years.
Yes.
So, we also have the board meeting minutes from the Atchison Housing Authority. I think there's one note in there I would bring your attention to. I don't remember if it's this meeting or the February meeting. Apologies. Nope, that's going to be in the February meeting. In the February meeting with the Atchison Housing Authority, we had our code enforcement officer discuss with them the zoning of the mall towers which we encountered is an interesting situation. It is zoned planned development, but under our zoning regulations, we're not really sure why that would be. We went back in time and found that when the zoning regulations, the current iteration of zoning regulations was adopted the first time in 1973, I believe, that parcel was just mapped in as a planned development with no real discussion or anything. So I think at the time it was to enable them to build or to kind of grandfather in the towers that had already been built in the 60s. But we're discussing that with them because it also incorporates a couple other adjacent lots that have never known they were zoned as PD until they went to go make some changes this year and couldn't understand why they weren't zoned for business. So we're discussing that with them about getting all those zonings fixed. Generally, as you know, planned developments are supposed to be over 5 acres in size. They're supposed to be things like the Raven Hills development that's going in. So it's a little curious that the towers and a couple lots were included in that. But the only other thing in communications is that the First Presbyterian Church was approved in their nomination for as a historic place on the National Historic Registry. So we always welcome that, especially in historic Atchison. We have so many of those now, and we're continuing our process of exploring a downtown historic district for economic development. So that's everything in communications. Then I have update.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
Do you know what this resolution 1182, what did that?
Which page are you on?
Dispossession of excess inventory here on page 80. What did that, how are they gonna do that, or what was that about, you know? It just says that. I couldn't see where it said what the detail.
I'd have to go in and look. I am guessing that that's a requirement from HUD that they have to accomplish every year. I can go look at what their resolution was, but I'm not sure. Excess inventory. Yeah,
Okay.
I can go take a look at that and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then I have some updates on city projects and things that are happening. The water main replacement project that's going on around town, the work at 12th and Mound is now completed. The mains are in. They are obviously currently waiting to finish patching of the road. That is because, as you will hear a couple times here, we're waiting for asphalt plants to open for the season. They are not currently open. So we are going to chat with the contractor about maybe changing that up over there a little bit to make it more passable for vehicles. But we are waiting for asphalt plants to open. So they have now moved on to the 1400 block alley between Commercial and Kansas. Residents in that area have received flyers and notices about the work. That'll be the final phase of this water main project. At Elephant Park, all of the contracted grant work is now complete. You can go by and take a look. City crews will be working on regrading and seeding the disturbed dirt work when the time is right for seeding for the season. And we're continuing to do some of our own work out there, including resurfacing the asphalt park slab area and finishing up the roof on the restroom and some of those things. So the splash pad and the lights on the basketball court and the shelter are all completed. The Patriot Street Bridge is also substantially complete. They're doing finish work, and then the final opening of that bridge is also going to depend on when the asphalt plants open for the season. You'll note the sidewalk project across the street at Project Concern is done, as well as over on Gasoline Alley. So we thank Botteroff Construction for those. It looks very nice. Staff recently submitted a concept paper to KDOT for consideration for another Safe Routes to School sidewalk project to tie into our current setup. Again, Safe Routes to School, they've designated the middle school as the connecting school for that. So we have lots of spurs that kind of come off of the middle school, and then we try to connect into those spurs as well. So the most recent proposal that we're submitting is, coming up, we'll be doing 5th Street from the middle school up to Unity, and then this proposal is to tie in some of the side streets to 5th Street as it goes up. So we'll keep you updated on that as the grant process continues. A few weeks ago, you approved coating on the water treatment plant pipes in the sub-basement. That's completed now. They're moving on to the main pipe gallery. They're about 70% done with that project. Just a note, Chief and I are working with Animal Control on updating our animal control ordinances. They're a little out of date in some places. In other places, we want to make sure that our ordinances mirror what we would like in practice. Additionally, as you all placed in the budget this year, a little extra money in animal control for a trap, neuter, vaccinate, release program for a feral cat population in the city. So we're working through what that ordinance should look like to make sure it doesn't run afoul of any state laws and also mirrors successful programs in other cities. So we should see that coming very soon.
Okay, that was my question, was when might we see that?
I think we're targeting probably the first meeting in April to try to have that draft ordinance for you. Yeah. Again, we have a joint public hearing on March 16th at 6 p.m. So after your meeting here, we'll move over to Memorial Hall for that joint public hearing with the county, several other cities in the county, as well as the school districts to discuss the neighborhood revitalization plan. The transition to Invoice Cloud and our new online payment system is basically complete from our side. We citizens are still kind of making that transition as they go through their normal billing process through the month. City staff has been working really hard helping people out over the phone with anyone who has trouble with it. As a note, again, I mentioned last week, but the old payment system is offline, which means that if someone didn't get the notice for some reason, they should have, but if they didn't get the notice about the new system and they miss a payment, we're not charging late fees this month or doing any extra disconnects for payments missed in the month of February. So as we enter March, we're hitting those. Instead, they'll get a reminder from the city, hey, you missed a payment, make sure you're signed up for the new payment system.
And then as they sign up for the new payment system, they still will receive a paper bill, or do they need to request that?
So you can sign up for, you can now sign up for email bills only if you would like, but you can also uncheck that box and you'll still receive paper statements.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a reminder again that, as always, the city provides free automatic bank draft payments for all utility bills. And all you have to do is contact customer service or our finance director, and they can get that set up for you. So you can still set up your online accounts. You can access your bill online if you want. However, if you don't want to pay online, you can still have automatic payments made by just contacting customer service. Two other updates. One is just kind of on the legislative season, which is ongoing. Handful of items, bills that we're tracking that might change city processes. One is make some changes to the star bond process, which unfortunately would probably negatively impact what we're trying to do with our airport museum and downtown revitalization on the star bond phase 2. However, the good news on that, if it passes as it currently stands, is would not go into effect until July, and so we can still try to move forward with maybe a reduced scope of the projects we were trying to do just to get it through under the current phase. Again, that's an opportunity to capture some state sales tax revenue and use it for local projects, and the state is changing it so that they make that a little more difficult, which is kind of what they do often, right? They don't want to give as much back. They would like some of that in-house up there. Whether or not that has to do with the Chiefs Stadium star bond question, I don't know. However, it is moving forward, the legislation. So we're also keeping track of the various property tax bills. There's a handful of them. Some of them have maybe a little more momentum than others. We're working with the League of Kansas Municipalities to kind of evaluate those, see if there's any that we think would create a real hindrance in the city processes. You know, we're not opposed to any of them necessarily. We're definitely part of the conversation and saying, hey, if you're going to do that, here's some unintended consequences from the city side. Just consider that. And so far, they've been receptive to those things. So we're we're pretty hopeful that if a property tax bill comes down, it's not going to severely impact the city, at least. So the last one is that our own representative, Rivas, submitted a bill that made some amendments to the tourism or the transient guest tax legislation, which we had spoken with him about, Jill with the chamber and myself. Just there's some loopholes in there that we think were preventing things that the original bill may have considered. We should be able to collect on that tourism tax that we were not being able to. So he submitted a very simple bill that just kind of maybe closed that loophole, and it was kind of picked up by another entity, amended, where they crossed out almost all of his bill and rewrote a new bill. So we're tracking that to see if there's any way to kind of save the original intent or not. But I just will say that Senator Bowser and Representative Rivas have been really responsive during this legislative season and been giving us lots of great updates. So finally, I would just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. We are working on the final steps of the RFQ for management of the Atchison Event Center, which you all requested that we put that out for bid. We were notified by Theater Atchison that they are not considering putting in a proposal to continue managing the event center. So we will likely have a new management out there. They are being flexible with us on the timeline, so if we need a little more time for a transition, we'll see how that goes. But that is where it stands today.
Okay.
They could probably make a change in their decision, but that's where they stand today.
Okay.
And that RFQ will be going out within the next month, hopefully. So.
Okay.
And then I would just say we also have our, summer positions open on our website again. We want to make sure we're fully staffed over the summer, especially we talked about the extra mowing and things that we're trying to do. So we want to make sure we have as many of those temporary positions filled over the summer as possible. We pay well, and we, have good benefits for folks who are maybe staying on after the fact at full time. Yes.
And what?
For the conference center, event center, excuse me, the RFQ, is that something that we as a city will develop, or is that something we're going to have people suggest operating practices? So is it going to be our decision?
Yeah.
Are we going to decide what we want, or somebody's going to decide what we ought to have?
It can go both ways. What I have so far is a little more broad and gives a little more leeway, but it will include a site walkthrough with anyone who's interested in bidding, so that they can really get a full picture of the capabilities of the event center, the limitations of the event center, so that they can provide to you a full bid of what they're proposing. I want to leave it open because right now it's managed by a nonprofit. I want to leave that option open, and maybe there's other nonprofits who would like to toss their hat in the ring, who think they can handle it. They might have a totally different structure for how they would propose managing it than a for-profit entity that would put in a bid. And so I don't want to limit those options, and I want you all to have the opportunity to look at those and make a decision based on what's presented. And you might have one where it seems like it might make a little money, but another one where it maybe is a discount for community users. I don't know what might come out of that, so I want to leave it open.
Okay, that was.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, kitchen limited, is that right?
Well, we've been doing some digging on that.
Okay.
We believe under the current proposals that we've received that we could get the kitchen back to operation for a fairly minimal price that we are looking at doing. I think we were still waiting to get some kind of projection from one of the companies on, okay, but is this all going to need to be replaced in 5 years, 10 years, so that we can consider that as well. But the actual repairs to the current kitchen equipment and to get it to where it's operational again as a full commercial kitchen is reasonable, and so we're considering it.
Okay, and so we already have people that are interested in potentially going out for that RFQ, or we're just? these
I
are
mean,
internal
unofficially, I've had some folks tell me they would be interested in bidding on it. I don't know when the rubber meets the road, if they'll decide to or not, but, yeah, it's all informal at this point. No one has, other than the theater telling me that they are probably not going to pursue another, contract.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you, okay. All right, any other questions, concerns for Mark?
Thank you.
Great report, thank you, thank you. Okay, at this time, we will have governing body comments. Let's start with Vice Mayor, as he is on the phone. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
Oh, I'm good tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Greenlee?
Just to piggyback or echo what Mr. Westhoff mentioned, the progress on LFM Park. Drove by there today, and everything looks very nice. Can't wait to see that up and going, and kids splashing in water and playing ball on the basketball court. The new pavilion looks real good.
All right, very good, very good. Commissioner Slattery?
I had something, with our cats. If we're gonna do this cat thing, we need to not be wasting our money vaccinating them, I don't think. Just,
Okay, well, that's the current guy. So the problem is if you are releasing cats that we're not vaccinating against everything, but the city does not want to be releasing animals that are not vaccinated against rabies at the very least, because that is a public safety issue. So if we are going to be possessing those animals for any period of time, they're going to get vaccinated for rabies.
okay. I just think that, okay, one other thing. It was, I was out there looking at this water project where they're putting up the water mains in and stuff. Sure. And I asked that contractor, I said, why are you putting copper pipes from the water main to the main meters?
Okay.
And our specs spec that, he said. So we got to. I just wondered, who's the got to on that?
Versus what?
Plastic pipe, like the rest. We're running plastic pipe. We switch to copper, we go to the meter, and then everybody's got plastic the rest of it. I said, that looks like it costs a lot of money extra to do that. I think that's something we can look at, is changing our specs to vinyl from the main.
I'm sure there is a intentional reason why that's the case. I don't know that. It's probably a question for my water
I was just
superintendent,
amazed.
but-
I was just out there looking at it, and I asked him, I said, why are you putting copper? I mean, I don't know anybody uses copper.
My suspicion is that ends up in that meter pit and exposed to open air, and that copper might be a little more resilient. But that's just a guess on
We'll
my
look
part.
into it.
I would have to
We'll look into
ask
the
him.
specs. Yep.
It's just, I just kind of surprised me that anybody was still using copper for anything. That's just, so I forgot to say something. Okay.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Murphy?
The only thing I'd like to do, I'd really like to applaud you folks for running with this skateboard park. To a lot of people, it seems kind of silly. To a lot of people, it doesn't. And the fact that you guys have gone, and I love projects where the city and another entity can team up and have something that improves the whole community. So I thank you.
Absolutely.
You said earlier, in memory of our son, it is in memory of our son, but I'd like to remind everybody, our son is not here to use it. This is for the city. So
Yes.
that's who this is for. So I need to make sure you're fun.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that distinction. Yes. All right, Commissioner Murphy, anything further?
That would be it.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. And thank you again for making that distinction. And yes, it is for the use of everyone in the city, and especially for our young people. And so we definitely appreciate that. And speaking of our young people, a couple of schools that I would like to compliment, and of course their athletes. So today at Atchison High School, we were excited that Octavia Burnett is the Atchison High School's 4A state wrestling champion for her weight class, and she is the first time a female wrestler at Atchison High School has this distinction, and she will be in their Hall of Fame. So we congratulate Octavia Burnett. In addition to that, Atchison High also had 2 other students that also competed at state, freshman Nate Wiggins and freshman Jaden Wedlow. So congratulations to those individuals. Atchison County Community High School wrestling also achieved a second consecutive Class 3-1A regional title at a tournament at Fort Hays State Wrestling Tournament. So congratulations to them, as well as congratulations to our Atchison High School boys basketball and also girls basketball varsity teams. Both were undefeated in their district record, and we wish them the best of luck on their playoff season. And finally, the Moore Hill Mount Academy Ravens mock trial team, they also have their regional championship title, and we wish them all the best in continuing on their path of success. So just wanted to make sure that we are able to recognize our young people, because they are our future, as we all know. And with that, if there's nothing else further, I would entertain a motion for
I
adjournment.
move we adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Bye, Larry, have fun.
Bye.
Is the thing on?
Yeah.
Not yet.